My grandmother died when I was 3. I don't remember much about her, but I was always told that we had a close relationship. Her death is one that happens far too often and is one that is far too preventable. She was on a waiting list for a liver transplant, but she died before she could find one. According to organdonor.gov, only 60% of Americans are signed up as organ donors. Today, I'm going to be explaining the myths and stigmatization surrounding organ donation and why organ donation is important. It's important to understand why people don't choose to donate. One of the biggest myths is that if you are an organ donor, the hospital won't try as hard to save your life if you were found in a life-threatening situation. Evidence to go against this is something called the Hippocratic Oath. According to DNAZ.org, this is one of the oldest binding documents in history. Hippocrates of Kos, also known as Hippocrates II, wrote this oath, and it is still held sacred to physicians. A summary of this oath can be defined as, first, do no harm. This means that it is the medical staff's first priority to save your life and not harm you to potentially save another. Another reason why this is false is because in a medical emergency, there's simply not enough time to see whether you are a registered organ donor. Somebody eligible needs to give permission to the hospital staff, say you got stabilized in the hospital, in order for the hospital to see your organ registration. So it is a difficult process for the hospital to go through, and so that's not on the forefront of their mind. One of the second biggest myths is that if you are an organ donor, you can't have an open casket funeral. This one's easy to debunk because organs are not being taken from visible parts of your body. They're being taken from the abdomen region, which will be covered with clothing during your funeral. A third myth is that many people believe that you have to be 18 and over to be an organ donor. This is false because you simply just need parental consent. Anybody can be an organ donor at any age. This myth is especially important to debunk because a lot of people, their first time being asked whether they want to be an organ donor is at the DMV when they're getting their driver's license. It's important for teenagers to be able to think this through, so when they're asked at the DMV, they don't get caught off guard because they didn't know that they could be an organ donor. The thought of death is naturally scary, and so many people, when faced with this decision so suddenly, many teenagers may say no, just because they haven't thought it through. Not to mention, organs of all sizes are needed, as children also need organ donors. Now that I debunked some common myths surrounding organ donation, I'm going to emphasize the need. According to AmericanTransplantFoundation.org, liver and kidney disease kills over 120,000 people a year, which is more people than Alzheimer's, breast cancer, or prostate cancer. These high numbers are definitely concerning, as these statistics are competing with cancer, which is one of the deadliest diseases. This can affect you personally, as a lot of people don't get symptoms that they have kidney or liver disease until it's progressed in some way. So it could be ranging from mild to severe, which shortens the amount of time a person can wait on a waiting list. According to the same website, AmericanTransplantFoundation.org, one deceased donor can save up to 8 lives. 8 lives is definitely a lot, because today alone, around 20 people have died due to the organ shortage in this country. These are lives that could have been easily saved by a simple choice that doesn't affect the donor at all. If everybody donated, the fear that many people endure, the fear that you can endure someday, could cease to exist. In conclusion, I've always been passionate about organ donation. It was the reason my grandmother died, because there weren't enough organ donors. I hope that after listening to this speech, you can recognize the need for donation and how choosing to donate has no effect on your life whatsoever, but can save many more.